concert ends, of course. The concert ends, and Ash and Mina about to go into the locker room, go into the dressing room or the dressing trailer, and the band says, "You guys go in first. You know them better than us." Because who's in the trailer waiting for them? None other than Sally and Sonic. That's right, Sally and Sonic are waiting in the dressing room for Mina and Ash. So, I don't know how you can see this a little bit better. Maybe you can't. I don't know. But yeah, they're in there waiting for Mina and Ash. So, anyway, we have a bit of a move this down a little bit so you can probably get a better look. There we go. So anyway, we have a bit of a confrontation between them, between both sides. You know, Ash is wondering how they got there. You know, Sally's saying she's the princess, and you know, Sonic says, "Speed of sound, kind of known for it." Now, this is where we have the confrontation. Basically, Ash is like, "Well, you can wait in line for everybody else when it comes to autographs." And you know, Sonic's like, you know, cute. And as you can see, well, basically what Sonic says here, and I'm sure you read this in the summaries and some reviews, he said, Mina's music, basically he tells Ash, hey, Mina's music's is good enough that it doesn't need your, oh, I'm so misunderstood and the world doesn't understand me kind of gloom and doom and stuff. But Mina has to step in, kind of say it's not Ash's idea, it was mine, and that this message has to be heard, especially by you. She's telling Sonic this. And then Sally interjects by telling her, well, you know, look, with someone with your popularity, someone whose albums, every time they're released, sell out, you know, and everything, and the concerts sell out, have to be careful with the messages they take to the public because they have a responsibility with it. But then this is where Mina gets angry and interjects by telling Sally, you know, responsibility? Responsibility? This is where she starts to get angry, and this is where some people are not happy about what Ian's doing with her. Because basically here we have Mina saying, you know, basically telling her, well, what about you and the Freedom Fighters? Bunny, and she asked, well, she asked Sally, well, what about you and the Freedom Fighters? And then she points out the fact that Bunny, Khan, and Nicole all got turned on them. And that Nicole runs the city, is the city, and how is that responsible? And then she points out that, well, she, Sonic, and Tails were half a world away. They were running for their lives. Anywhere they hid could be turned into a prison by Nicole. And then she points out, well, Sally and everybody else was trying to break away the Iron Dominion, or break away the bride houses from the Iron Dominion. Now while they were doing that, or she says talking politics, she was over here seeing people get legionized. And then she's like, so legionized, and she's like, so don't you dare talk to me about responsibility. And Sonic kind of chimes in saying, and then basically, of course, Sonic chimes in and says, oh yeah, well, what did you want? So basically Sonic in his own way says, kind of asks the question, well, what did you want us to do? Just stay behind and get captured as well? And then Sally says, hey, you know, save it, Sonic. You know, like, she's not going to listen. But then she does the no one thing deal. Something that kind of gets Mina thinking a little bit. But she tells her, yeah, Nicole was in full control. Oh, well, they were gone, you know, when they were in the East. And that while she was in control, she had to keep up the act that she was in control to protect as many as possible. And that, like Mina, she saw all the legionizing firsthand, and that she was at Mina's concert. And you kind of can see the expression on Mina's face, like Mina's like, "Whoa, I didn't, realize that shit. I didn't realize that was what's going on." And then as they leave, you kind of get like a look on Mina's face here. I don't know if you can see it well. I doubt you could see it well, but you kind of get a look on Mina's face of like, she's going to start thinking maybe about what's really going on, that maybe she shouldn't have said what she said. So anyway, this leads us into the end of the first story. And basically, we have Sonic, of course, a little upset and saying his line that everybody is criticizing as well, like, something like, I wonder how these people would feel if, Eggman came back and they go from, "Where save us, Nicole," to, so from, and basically Sonic does his little snide remark where he's like, "Yeah, I wonder how these people will react if Eggman came back," and then suddenly they go from "Where she's evil" to "Help save us, Nicole," which are force fields. So basically we end the story with Nagas telling the people of Mopatropolis, "Feast in your fear, bathe in your terror, until you beg me to save you." So overall, the first story was pretty good, and there's not really much I could say, except, I definitely give the first story a 10 out of 10, and I will be back with my thoughts on the side story, which I thought was quite interesting too. So 10 out of 10 on the first story, and we'll see what my rating on the second story is. Be back. I'm back here at my review of the side story. Here, the backup story, if you will. Which, like I said, if you read the main story, you notice that Espio is one of the people to, notice Nicole's running off. But anyway, the side story is called Second Impressions, Part 1. Now, basically we have Nicole lying there on the floor sobbing or crying. And then Dimitri, asks her that, from the obvious, which is her crying, is if she's alright. Now, Nicole's like, says she apologizes first because she forgot that he was installed there. And Nicole's about to fade away into the system by saying she won't bother him any further. And Dimitri's like, "Child, if you were a bother, I wouldn't have let you weep all this time." So anyway, Nicole's kind of like, oh, kind of like a little surprised, like, "Oh, I did?" Because she didn't realize she was crying for that long, and didn't realize that she was there crying for that long. And, of course, Dimitri says, "Well, given the nature of Mina's song, I thought it'd be best to give you some time before voicing my concern." And then he points out that Espio is there as well, because Espio is doing the same thing. Now, Espio, of course, is surprised to see Dimitri there, and, mentions that he knows a lot for someone who's been missing for so long. And Dimitri says, "Well, I have limited access to the city," and that he could view the concert, and he saw Espio coming in the front door. Now, Espio is asking Nicole, why is Dimitri here? Nicole has to basically mention that Sonic and Tails rescued him, and that when Sally found out that he had been left for dead, she decided to show some mercy on him. Now, Dimitri is, Dimitri wants to say something to SBO, and SBO's